Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 bands that hate their own names.
That's why I need you to hear. I'm not ready to make nice. I'm not ready to back down.
For this list, we'll be looking at well-known musical groups, regardless of genre, who have publicly expressed regret over what they called themselves. Know any more self-loathing bands that are not on this list? Let us know in the comments. Number 10, Death Cab for Cutie. Many a band name has been coined from song titles by other musicians, and these Washington indie rockers are no exception. According to frontman Ben Gibbard, this one came from the same titled 1967 song by another bizarrely named musical group, the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band.
Death cab for Cutie. Death cab for Cutie.
While it might have been a cutie name for a band at the time, that decision didn't quite age well, leaving fans and critics alike with a distaste for it, which sounds more like the product of a random word generator than a well-thought-out moniker.
I do believe it's true. There are roads left in both of our shoes.
Gibbard has publicly said that if he knew his band would still be popular 15 years after they formed, he would have picked something more obvious for a band name.
Gold brother swinging up a wrecking ball. Gold brother trees laughing plaster wall. Gold brother.
Number 9, Little Mix. If you thought this was the name of a children's music band when you first heard it, then you are not alone.
Take a sip from a secret potion. One taste and you'll be mine.
This British girl group shot into the spotlight in 2011 after becoming the first group to win the British version of the X Factor, but would have been known by a slightly different name.
Little Mix.
Originally named Rhythmics, the group was forced to change due to a disagreement with a children's charity also called that. Speaking with RuPaul on his podcast, group member Jade Thirlwall recalls the group hating the name for ages because it made them, quote, sound like children.
So then it ended up getting changed to Little Mix, which we hated at first.
You hated it
yeah,
at
we're
first.
like, it's the end of our career. We sound like children. Like, we were like, no one's going to like the name. So for ages, we really hated it.
Sounds like a little switcheroo with the children's charity would have made everyone happy. Number 8, Mogwai. When you pick a name with a demonic translation, don't be surprised if your decision haunts you down the line. Originally gotten from what one form of the titular creatures are called in the 80s comedy horror film Gremlins, the origins of Mogwai were actually derived from a Cantonese word meaning devil or evil spirit. Yikes.
His name's Gizmo. Giz? He's a Mogwai.
Surprisingly, the evil connotations of their moniker don't quite bother these Scottish post-rock veterans. Vocalist and guitarist Stuart Braithwaite admitted that the name, quote, has no significant meaning, and we always intended on getting a better one, but like a lot of other things, we never got round to it. That just goes to show that you may fear Satan, but you don't necessarily have to believe in him. Number 7, Mumford & Sons. When Nicki Minaj said,
All these is my sons.
it seems someone was taking notes. These English folk rock stars decided on their moniker because frontman Marcus Mumford was the most prominent of the pack, attaching "and Sons" to his surname to sound like a, quote, antiquated family business name.
And I will wait for you.
Sadly, the patriarch of this family business is no longer keen on how much it centers on him. Describing it as a ball ache to NME, Marcus said he, quote, definitely regrets the band name, and would have called the band anything other than his last name, if he'd, quote, known things would go this way.
But it was not your fault but mine.
Oh well, we guess not everyone has the balls to walk in Ms. Minaj's footsteps. Number 6, Jimmy Eat World. A few minutes is a crucial period in the music industry. If you're Lord, it could be how long it takes you to write a hit song.
And we'll never be royal.
Or decide on a band name you'd regret forever if you're a member of this alt-rock band. Leading man Jim Adkins revealed on Twitter that the band discussed for, quote, less than 5 minutes, no shit, before deciding on their gluttonous band name. He also advised new musical artists to ensure the acronym of their group's names don't complicate matters for them. This led one fan to comment that the problem could have been avoided if they'd just gone with Jimmy 8 World instead. Oh, what a difference a little more thought can make. Number 5. Lady Antebellum, now Lady A. In the wake of the 2020 Black Lives Matter protests, this Grammy-winning country band announced that they were dropping the word antebellum from their name and rebranding as Lady A. Posting online, the group stated that they were, quote, regretful and embarrassed at only just realizing the association of the word with slavery and the hurt it must have caused their fans. This change received a mixed reaction, as some criticized the band for waiting so long to do it, and for choosing a name that Anita White, a black activist and blues singer, was already using.
The truth is loud. Do you hear me?
With an abbreviation that still calls back to their original name, it left people wondering how big of a change it really was.
We started to see what our part was, what part of our first steps in making a difference could be. And so our name changing was the first step.
Number 4, Arctic Monkeys. Unlike some of our entries on this list, this English indie rock band doesn't just regret their name, they think it's outright bad. The Arctic Monkeys frontman and potential hair model Alex Turner admitted that it's, quote, so bad that the tribute bands don't sound worse, but thinks they should get a pass anyway since it's the first band any of them had ever been in. On the origins of the name, Turner added that guitarist Jamie Cook came up with it and just never told the others where it came from. We'd say it's a great band name, but sadly, whatever we say they are, that's exactly what they're not.
I don't know what you're looking for.
Number 3, Smashing Pumpkins. Whether you read the word smashing here as a verb or an adjective doesn't quite save this from being a questionable band name. The origin of the moniker of this hit 90s rock band with a tumultuous history is not quite clear, thanks in no small part to frontman Billy Corgan. Corgan has given multiple origin stories, including it being a divine revelation from God, a dreamy suggestion by Gene Simmons, and from a childhood friend's need to smash pumpkins during Halloween.
Cool kids never have
Whatever it is, we agree with bassist Darcy Retzky, who called it a, quote, stupid name, a dumb bad joke, and a bad idea. For such an apt description, Darcy, you leave us smiling politely.
Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins.
Homer Simpson, smiling politely.
Number 2, Dixie Chicks, now the Chicks. Following their country counterparts Lady A, this multiple Grammy-winning trio announced a name change mere weeks before releasing their first album in 14 years. Dropping the word Dixie due to its association with the Confederacy, the group decided to rebrand as the Chicks. They pointed out that they'd always considered the name stupid and thought about changing it, quote, years and years and years ago, reaching their breaking point when they saw the Confederate flag being labeled, quote, the Dixie swastika.
It was about time. We'd wanted to change it for a long time, actually.
When asked about fans who don't like the name change, the trio, who are no stranger to controversy, said they don't really care. They may go by a slightly different name, but the Chicks are still not ready to make nice.
I'm still mad as hell and I don't have time to go round and round and round.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Milky Chance. They've admitted that Milky Chance isn't the best name.
Never danced like this before. We don't talk about it.
Japan Droids. They would have picked a better moniker if they knew their career would kick off.
And if they try to slow you down, tell them all to go to hell.
McBusted. McFly and Busted admit it is lame, but went with it because it was the supergroup's best option.
I guess I never should have sang Beyonce or MJ.
ISIS changed their Facebook name to ISIS the Band to stop confusion with the militant group. Hoobastank. Vocalist Doug Robb expressed remorse regarding the group's unfortunate naming.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Foo Fighters. For such a smooth, alliterative band name, it's okay to be a little confused as to why it's on this list.
The English Royal Air Force saw weird flying balls of fire in the sky, and they would chase them, and they didn't know what they were, and they never caught them, so they called them Foo Fighters.
Gotten from the nickname that World War II pilots used to report UFOs, this band name was picked by frontman Dave Grohl in a bid to release new recordings anonymously after the breakup of Nirvana. Grohl has admitted to hating the name, calling it, quote, the dumbest band name ever, and saying he would have gone with another name if he'd known their career would, quote, last more than a month and a half. Way to take a dig at yourself there, Dave. Look on the bright side, at least you don't have to worry about your band's acronyms.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.